something happened in Genoa City that no one expected. A newly released photo preview shows Nick and Nikki walking into a support group meeting together. At first glance, it seems harmless. But in this town, nothing is ever that simple. Why would two powerful Newmans suddenly seek help in public? The answer may change everything. For years, Nikki Newman has fought battles most people never knew about. She survived heartbreak, betrayal, and personal demons that nearly destroyed her. Yet this time feels different. Her expression in the preview isn't one of confidence. It's worry. Deep, unmistakable worry. And that raised a troubling question nobody could ignore. Standing beside her is Nick Newman. Usually calm under pressure, Nick appears unusually tense. His guarded posture tells a story words cannot. Was he there simply to support his mother? Or was he carrying a burden of his own? The image revealed more questions than answers, and viewers immediately sensed trouble ahead. The moment fans saw the preview, theories exploded across social media. Some believed Nikki was facing a new personal crisis. Others wondered if Nick had reached a breaking point. Could both of them be hiding the same secret? The possibility seemed impossible. Yet the clues pointed somewhere unexpected. If you love Deep Young and the Restless mysteries and shocking twists, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the channel. Every day brings new secrets from Genoa City, and today's story may be one of the biggest yet. Support groups often bring people together during their darkest moments. They offer healing, understanding, and second chances. But they also create opportunities for hidden truths to emerge. What if someone inside that room knew something dangerous? Something the Newmans desperately wanted buried? That possibility changed the entire picture. Nikki's history makes this situation especially significant. Whenever she faces emotional pressure, old wounds have a way of resurfacing. Could recent events have reopened scars she thought were healed forever? If so, she wasn't the only one affected. Someone else seemed caught in the storm. That someone may be Nick. Lately, his life has been filled with difficult choices and emotional conflicts. Every decision carries consequences. Every relationship feels fragile. Was the support group connected to family struggles? Or was another crisis quietly unfolding behind the scenes? The signs were becoming harder to dismiss. Then viewers noticed a subtle detail. Nick wasn't simply accompanying Nikki. He appeared fully engaged in the meeting itself. That observation changed everything. If Nick was participating, perhaps the issue wasn't Nikki's alone. Maybe mother and son shared a painful challenge neither could face independently. And that's where the mystery deepened. What kind of problem could bring two generations of Newmans into the same support circle? Addiction, grief, family trauma. The possibilities seemed endless. Yet every theory led back to one troubling conclusion. Something serious was happening beneath the surface. Something powerful enough to shake the Newman family foundation. Meanwhile, another possibility emerged. What if this wasn't about healing at all? What if Nick and Nikki were attending the group because of someone else? Someone close to them. Someone in desperate need of help. Suddenly, the entire narrative shifted in a completely different direction. The Newmans have always protected family members when crises strike. Sometimes they intervene quietly. Sometimes they take extreme measures. Could they be supporting a loved one spiraling out of control? So, who was it? And why was the situation serious enough to require their presence together? As fans examined every detail of the preview, attention turned toward the people surrounding Nick and Nikki. Faces in the room may seem unimportant, but in soap operas, background characters often become keys to major storylines. Was one of those attendees hiding a connection no one recognized yet? Then came the first major twist. Some viewers suggested the support group itself might be linked to a future storyline rather than a current crisis. What if Nick and Nikki were about to meet someone whose arrival would change Genoa City forever? Suddenly, the room felt far more important. Imagine walking into a meeting expecting emotional support and instead encountering a person from your past. A person carrying secrets, resentment, or unfinished business. Could that be what awaits the Newmans? If so, their lives may be on the verge of another dramatic collision. The deeper fans looked, the stranger things became. Nikki's cautious expression didn't resemble fear alone. It looked like recognition, as if she anticipated seeing someone, as if she already knew trouble was coming. But who could possibly have that effect on Nikki Newman after everything she survived? At the same time, Nick appeared protective, not angry, not frustrated, protective. That's an important distinction. It suggests he may know more than he's saying. Could he already understand the danger ahead? Was he attending the meeting to shield Nikki from a painful revelation? Then came another unexpected theory. What if the support group isn't about addiction or grief at all? What if it's connected to victims of manipulation, betrayal, or emotional abuse? Suddenly, several recent storylines began fitting together in ways nobody anticipated. This possibility created the second major twist. If the group focuses on emotional recovery, then multiple characters could be involved. Hidden alliances might form. Long-buried grievances could resurface. And shocking confessions could emerge without warning. The potential consequences were enormous. Who could Nick really trust if old enemies were present? Who could Nikki rely on if painful memories returned? Support groups are designed for honesty. But honesty often creates chaos before it creates healing. And Genoa City has never handled chaos quietly. As the meeting progresses, tensions may rise in ways no one expects. One confession can spark another. One revelation can expose years of deception. What begins as a safe space could quickly become a battlefield of emotions. And that's when everything starts unraveling. The third major twist may be the most shocking of all. What if Nick enters the meeting believing he's there to help someone else, only to discover he's the one who needs saving? That possibility turns the entire storyline upside down. Think about it. Nick has spent years rescuing others, solving problems, and carrying responsibilities. But even the strongest people reach limits. What happens when the protector becomes vulnerable? What happens when hidden pain finally surfaces? The answer could surprise everyone. Meanwhile, Nikki faces a challenge of her own. She has always fought fiercely to maintain control. Yet healing requires vulnerability. It requires truth. And truth can be terrifying, especially when powerful families spend years hiding it. That's where the danger grows. As emotions build, one question becomes impossible to ignore. Is this support group merely a place for recovery? Or is it the setting for a major future storyline that will impact multiple families? The evidence increasingly points toward the latter. Imagine secrets being revealed one by one, hidden connections exposed, unexpected friendships formed, old rivalries reignited. The support group could become a crossroads where several storylines collide. And when that happens, nobody escapes unchanged. The atmosphere surrounding the preview feels deliberate. Every glance, every expression, every positioning choice appears carefully crafted. Soap operas rarely release images without purpose. So what message are producers trying to send? The answer may be hiding in plain sight. As fans wait for the episode to air, anticipation continues to grow. Everyone sees the same image. Yet everyone reaches a different conclusion. Is that exactly what the writers intended? To keep viewers guessing until the very last moment? Perhaps the most fascinating part is what remains unseen. We know Nick and Nikki attend the meeting, but we don't know what happens once they're inside. We don't know who speaks. We don't know who listens. And we certainly don't know who leaves changed forever. Then comes the realization that ties everything together. The support group may not be the story itself. It may be the doorway to a much larger mystery. A mystery involving trust, family loyalty, hidden pain, and unexpected consequences. Suddenly, every clue takes on a new meaning. So why are Nick and Nikki really attending that support group? Are they seeking help, protecting someone they love, or walking directly into a life-changing confrontation? One thing is certain, the answers waiting inside that room could alter Genoa City forever. But when the truth finally emerges, will anyone be ready for what comes next? The meeting had barely begun when an uneasy silence settled over the room. Nick scanned the faces around him. Nikki remained focused, but her eyes betrayed concern. She wasn't nervous about speaking. She was nervous about listening. And that difference meant far more than anyone realized. Every person in attendance carried a story. Some carried regret. Others carried grief. But one individual sat quietly in the corner, watching the Newmans with unusual interest. Was it simple curiosity? Or was this person expecting them to arrive all along? The possibility felt increasingly disturbing. Nick noticed it too. A brief glance, a moment of recognition, then nothing. The stranger quickly looked away. Yet the damage was done. Questions immediately flooded Nick's mind. Had they met before? If so, under what circumstances? And why now? Something wasn't adding up. As introductions began, Nikki listened carefully. Each story seemed ordinary at first. Struggles, recovery, personal growth. But beneath those words lingered deeper pain. Pain that felt strangely familiar. The atmosphere grew heavier with every confession. Then one statement changed everything. A participant spoke about betrayal by someone they trusted completely. The words hit Nikki like a shockwave. Her expression hardened instantly. Why would such a simple comment affect her so deeply? Had it triggered a memory she desperately wished to forget? The answer remained hidden. Across the room, Nick noticed his mother's reaction. He knew that look. It appeared whenever old wounds resurfaced. Yet he couldn't understand what specifically had caused it. Was this connected to recent events? Or was the truth buried much further in the past? Then came a surprising revelation. The meeting leader encouraged members to discuss not only their struggles but also the people who shaped those struggles. Suddenly names mattered. Histories mattered. Connections mattered. And that opened a door nobody expected to see opened. One by one, attendees shared personal experiences. Some stories were heartbreaking, others were shocking, but one account stood out from the rest. It involved a wealthy family, complicated relationships, and years of emotional damage. Sound familiar? Nick certainly thought so. The room grew silent. The details were vague enough to avoid direct accusations, yet specific enough to spark suspicion. Was the speaker intentionally describing the Newmans? Or was it an incredible coincidence? Nobody knew for certain. But tension began rising fast. Nikki shifted uncomfortably in her seat. For the first time, she appeared genuinely rattled. Not angry, not defensive, rattled. It was as though pieces of a puzzle were suddenly falling into place. And the picture they formed was deeply unsettling. Then came another unexpected turn. The mysterious attendee from the corner finally spoke. The moment their voice filled the room, Nikki's eyes widened. Nick immediately noticed. This wasn't a random reaction. This was recognition. Real recognition. And that's when the situation became dangerous. Who was this person? Why did Nikki seem to know them? More importantly, why had she never mentioned them before? The questions arrived faster than answers. Meanwhile, the stranger continued speaking as if nothing unusual had happened. Yet the tension was impossible to ignore. As the story unfolded, references to old mistakes and long-buried secrets emerged. Nobody mentioned names directly. They didn't need to. Nikki understood every word. Nick could see it written across her face. Whatever history existed between them, it wasn't pleasant. This marked the fourth major twist. The support group wasn't introducing a new problem. It was resurrecting an old one. A chapter Nikki believed had ended years ago was suddenly reopening. And some stories become more dangerous the second time around. Nick's instincts kicked in immediately. He wanted answers. He wanted clarity. Most of all, he wanted to protect his mother. But how could he defend her against a threat he didn't fully understand? Every new detail only deepened the mystery. The stranger eventually shared a powerful statement. Some wounds heal. Others simply wait. Wait for the right moment. Wait for the right trigger. Wait for the right audience. The room absorbed every word. But Nikki heard something else hidden beneath them. A warning. Could this entire encounter have been planned? Was this person attending the group specifically because they knew Nikki would be there? The idea seemed extreme. Yet soap opera history has proven one thing repeatedly. Coincidences rarely remain coincidences for long. Meanwhile, Nick found himself reflecting on his own struggles. Hearing these stories forced him to confront emotions he normally kept buried. Regret, guilt, questions he never allowed himself to ask suddenly demanded attention. And those emotions were becoming impossible to avoid. What if the true purpose of this meeting wasn't Nikki's journey at all? What if it was Nick's? What if the support group represented a crossroads where he would finally face truths about himself? That possibility shifted the entire narrative once again. As the meeting neared its conclusion, participants were invited to share one final thought. Most offered messages of hope. Others spoke about forgiveness. Then Nikki slowly stood to speak. The room fell completely silent. Everyone sensed something important was about to happen. At first, her words were measured and calm. She spoke about survival, about resilience, about moving forward despite pain. But beneath her confidence lingered emotion she could barely contain. It was clear she wasn't simply addressing the group. She was addressing someone specific. The stranger listened without interruption. No expressions, no reactions, just silence. Yet somehow that silence felt louder than any argument. Nikki finished speaking and sat down. Then the stranger offered a single nod. Nothing more. But the message seemed unmistakable. Nick immediately noticed the exchange. There was history here. Deep history. The kind that doesn't disappear with time. The kind that shapes entire lives. Yet he still lacked the crucial piece of information that explained everything. And that missing piece could change everything. When the meeting ended, people slowly began leaving. Conversations started. Smiles appeared. Relief spread throughout the room. But Nick and Nikki remained focused on one person, the stranger, because neither of them believed this encounter was truly over. As the mysterious attendee approached, the tension became unbearable. Would they reveal their identity? Would they expose a shocking secret? Or would they simply walk away, leaving even more questions behind? The answer arrived in the most unexpected way possible. Instead of speaking to Nikki, the stranger stopped directly in front of Nick. For several long seconds, neither person said a word. Then came a quiet sentence that changed everything. "You deserve to know the truth." And suddenly nothing felt safe anymore. Nick froze. Nikki looked horrified. Whatever secret this person carried, it clearly involved both of them. The support group was no longer about healing. It had become the opening chapter of a much larger mystery, one that threatened to shake the Newman family to its core. The stranger then turned and walked away before offering any explanation. No answers, no details, just uncertainty. Yet sometimes uncertainty is more terrifying than the truth itself. Because imagination fills the empty spaces with possibilities far worse than reality. Now Nick faces a choice. Ignore the warning and move on. Or investigate a secret someone desperately wants revealed. But once certain doors open, they can never be closed again. And he may already be standing on the threshold. As Nikki and Nick leave the building, neither notices someone watching from a distance. Hidden in the shadows. Waiting. Listening. Smiling. The support group meeting may be over, but the real story is only beginning. And the next revelation could destroy everything the Newmans believe to be true.